Greetings, greetings, greetings all. Thank you. Thank you. Lovely to see everyone again. Even though I can't see you, I can feel you, okay? Just know that I can feel your presence in the space. So I appreciate you, appreciate the time that you put into seeing this. I know it's a beautiful day and it's sunny outside. So anyone who's here, hail up yourselves for being here, because I know you could be somewhere else and you might be somewhere else and you might catch this now and you might catch this later on, and it's okay. We still love you. So I want to I don't want to jump straight in this evening with my guest because he has a competition tomorrow and so he has to leave on time, and I want to make sure that we get through some of the questions and get to know his work as well, because often we take it for granted that our children are going to go to these events. We talked about events last week and we go to different events, etc., and is it child friendly, but we never really look at the areas where it can be more challenging for parents. And so I wanted to highlight this evening with the importance of looking at children who are SEND children, so special educational needs and disabilities. And I think that's important because, we talked about what it was like in, the pandemic. We talked about how it was, and we don't recognize some of the challenges that may have taken place for parents during that time. So we have a guest this evening who will talk to us a little bit more about his work and some of the amazing work that he's doing. He reached out to me actually and sent me some of his work, and I'd asked him if he could come on the show, and here we are. So without further ado, I want to just read out his bio, because he's been doing this work for a very long time. Yeah. So tonight we have with us Johnathan Buffong. Yeah, and he's a mixed martial arts for reform and progression. So it's MMARAP, yeah, in short, yeah. So MMARAP was established in January 2012 with himself teaching in a community centre in Islington once a week, and now delivering programmes 5 times a week across a number of boroughs. During the span of 10 years, MMARAP has delivered across the London boroughs Lewisham, Greenwich, Wandsworth, Hammersmith and Fulham, Barking and Dagenham, Ealing, Redbridge, Hackney, Camden, Walthamstow, Brent, Southwark and more. Participants range from the likes of MENCAP, British Red Cross, Royal Society for Blind Children, RBSC, Blind Aid, DeafPlus, to schools, colleges, prisons and more. This has been achieved with the growth and expertise of trained MMA-RAP coaches and professional volunteers that's helped and supported the development of this organisation. During the pandemic, MMA-RAP has enriched and empowered 254 young people, mainly those with disadvantaged backgrounds, deaf, blind, disabled. Our participants range from ADHD, cerebral palsy, wheelchair users, deaf, spina bifida, stroke survivors, visually impaired, being bullied, amputees, and more. So, this evening I thought, well, okay, and where he's working with young people, he's using martial arts as if it's like a catalyst for this work. So in looking for a proverb this evening, I looked at a proverb, and the proverb that most suited this evening I found was, a warrior fights with courage and not with anger. Yeah. So when you look at the work, I did a little bit of research and looked at some of the work he's doing. It takes a lot of courage for young people to get on board in something like this, much less, getting on board when you have a special educational need or disability. So I really want to bring the brother through right now, and I want to welcome him to the space. So without further ado, come through, brother. Good evening, Johnathan.
Good morning. Where are you?
Thank you. Good evening. I don't know where you are in the world, but where's the evening here?
Cool. No, thank you very much. I really appreciate this moment.
You're welcome. So I just want you to tell us a little bit about how, you got started. I hope that the bio was enough. I doubt it. Yeah. But I
No,
want to gauge a sense of, where it started for you. What made you choose this work? Because this work, it's like we're called for certain things. Everyone has their position, and you chose this path. So tell us a little bit of history, a little bit of your story.
to be honest, I never chose this. I just chose to go to bed and sleep. But God called me. And yes, we all face challenges, barriers, discrimination. And I've been involved in mixed martial arts for, over a decade, if not two. And it's a great sport. I have no qualms about it. It's a very, very powerful, very beneficial sport for those who don't know about the MMA. But I saw an angle or a niche where there wasn't much for those with disabilities, and not the sense of me building this company for them to become combatants. No, I just use, as you said, as a catalyst or as a vehicle. I use the sport as a vehicle for them to be enriched and empowered throughout their day of lives, whether it's in schools, hence exams, at home, family, just in everyday life. And working with sparring with a number of pro MMA fighters, I've seen the discipline, I've seen the contribution that it has made. So therefore, I just started up the company 2012, like you said, January, and we're still, empowering thousands of young people across London.
When did you start that? Sorry about that. When did you start the MMA, the mixed martial arts?
So when or where?
When?
When?
How long before you took this on were you doing mixed martial arts before that?
Yeah, I was doing before that. I've always been involved in physical sport, and it's something that's I never saw. Well, I didn't at that time. I never saw myself to become a great athlete in that world of mixed martial arts. So therefore, I just diverse my energies into a different platform where I can feel I can champion others. So that's the platform. That's what I see it as.
Great, that's lovely. And so what do you find, you've been doing it for a long time. What are some of the challenges that you experience or the young people experience, or for the parents? Because, obviously it's a confidence booster. I think it's really important. I get a sense of there's always the possibility of maybe being bullied. So I think having the martial arts is going to be, a space to, like you say, enrich, and deepen, their own courage and confidence. But what are some of the challenges or some of the things that you found solutions to in bringing mixed martial arts to young people with special educational and needs and disabilities?
The challenge is at the beginning, it was knowing how to instruct a class with a number of people with disabilities. There are many dojos and organizations out there and gyms that, they do take on one or two people, with mental or physical disabilities, which, by right, all gyms are welcome to do so. But to have a class with people people with, special needs, mental or physically disabilities or disabled conditions is a huge challenge. It's not something that every black belt, sixth dan wants to do. It's not every championship holder wants to be dealing with. I'm sure they have empathy for a length of time, but doing it for a length of time with the amount of people in the class, that's a challenge alone. But for me, it's actually very, very rewarding, because knowing that many people are discriminated for their looks and the way how they think, but where I've cultivated the sessions, we're all equal.
Right. And so, you talked when I was looking at your bio, you talked about some of the work you did meant that you worked in colleges and prisons.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Colleges, Wandsworth College. What colleges we went to? Islington College we worked with. Got me thinking now. But the prison was fantastic. It was young offenders prison. It was about 7 or 8 in a group, so it was relatively a small group. But it was very empowering, and even some of the screws asked me to work there, whether they've been sarcastic or not. They can saw the improvement and the discipline and the way that the young people were responding, than how they usually react in a prison. So it's very moving for them, moving for both the young people and the staff itself. And the same thing with colleges, because again, beforehand, MMA was known as very brutal, bloodshed, very backyard sort of sport. But as you can see, it's now it is recognised as a sport. It's been accepted, and it has huge benefits, especially for those with mental health, whether you're disabled or not.
Right. So I'm glad you went on to that, because I was thinking about when people think of mixed martial arts, they think it's quite brutal and bloody, like you're saying, right? And so for young people to get into that, who have a special need in that sense, what do you find helps? How do you? I'm a parent, say, and I have a parent and I have a child, in this position. How do I, what are the steps that help them once they go into it? Because obviously as a parent, we need to kind of get past the fact that it is not bloody and brutal, right? So what do I need to know as a parent, or as our audience need to know as parents as well? What do we need to know as parents that could support that? Like, we talked about wheelchair users. So, how does that show up? How does mixed martial arts, help to improve and support them and make them feel confident inside of doing it, and not thinking, and parents thinking, okay, this is a bloody sport. How do you ease them in?
Well, there are many people out there that are wheelchair users, and they do compete or do attend classes. And where I train on a privately session, I do spar with someone from a wheelchair. So everyone's different, but again, it's the mindset. It's all about the mindset. And the reason why I say the mindset, because for those who reach out to MMARAP, is that they're facing a different barrier than those who already already supported with. Because again, the guys I train with who do have a physical disability, their mindset is different for those that enter my programs. So any young people that come into my programs, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? How do I do it? And like you said, in regards to knowing as a parent, it's just knowing, it's all on the website what we do. We don't train in a cage. We train in community centres or in schools. So yes, for the parent or the carer, yes, please do your homework, do your background. You can always follow us on Instagram and also on website, and it gives you better insight of what your child or client will be involved with. Because again, the classes where I teach on a Tuesday are relatively small, therefore it's more manageable and more beneficial for each participant that attends. Yes, there are times that we deliver sessions across London where, for example, we had a class of 31 young people in a class. Again, with that, due to health, safety precautions, regulations, we have 2 coaches or more. But again, it's all about the class, it's all about the parent, it's all about the carer, and it's just the way how we've trained our MMA coaches to become the best at what we do.
Okay, and so take us into the conversation around mindset. Yeah, I think that's it sounds like mindset is at the kind of core of where you start, and I think does the mindset change? The coaching is it tailored in any other way that you would normally do it in a different way to children who are not, or young people who haven't got a disability? Are there different strategies that you use that parents will kind of you know, it's easy for them to go to the website, but you're here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So it's important for us to get a sense of, okay, you know, why should if that was my child, why should I take my child there? What, you know, where do I start as a parent? What work happens for me as a parent as well, whilst I'm doing this work with my child?
Well, good question, and I can always respond to that. Is that with us, it is very diverse in a sense of mental and physical abilities. You know, we have sessions where there are amputee, deaf, blind, ADHD, and those with anger management all in one class. You know, you're thinking, wow, that's a jungle in there, but it's fun because once you get there, once they enter the session of the program, and when they leave, their mindset is completely different. And it's all about knowing how to understand that, you know, you're not alone. You're not the one who's always been picked on. You're not the one who is always the bully, because there's always someone bigger. So, you know, we bring them down to, well, it's a sense of tolerance and empathy and understanding, because again, yes, we do with a lot of young people, and they'll be leaving us and entering the real world. And when you enter the real world, whether it's employability or you want to become a CEO, there's certain ground morals that you must embed or ingrain within yourself before you reach out, because egoism won't get you far. So therefore, you know, you cannot go out there and point your finger because someone doesn't look like you. Again, with our way of teaching, and this is why I like to emphasize the word rap on MMA the reform and progression. We are all reforming and progressing in one way or another. I think it's very important that we start by reforming ourselves with the mind. You can't go into something that you know it all. You can't go into something that's, you know, you're better than anyone else. You can to an extent, but how I like to insinuate it is that you're better than yourself, or you're better than yourself than you was yesterday. Because there'll always be someone better. There'll always be someone working harder than you. There'll always be someone stronger than you. But how stronger are you than you was yesterday? That's the ethos that we like to stress ourselves in our sessions, and it's very important. And especially when we do meditation as well, that's a powerful moment for our I say athletes that attend our sessions, because meditation is a, you know, for myself is a key element to my life.
So thank you for that. And I wanted to get a sense of, you know, how do you work with the parents inside of that? What's the
Yes,
engagement like with the parents in terms of them coming into the space and being able to help reinforce some of the work that you were already doing with the young people?
depending on the parent and also depending on the participant, you know, we always have discussions, and some parents rather sit in the class. Some parents like to join in the class, which is even better. And there's some parents that would rather not be in the class to let their child or their client as an individual let them be. Now, we had one chap. He's now gone to university now, which is great. He was with MMARAP for over 2 years, just coming to sessions every week. And he was literally mute, very insecure, very vulnerable when he first started. I think up to about third month, 12 weeks, you know, he started to, you know, blossom. And his parent was texting me saying, like, thank you for the sessions that you're providing, because, you know, she's seen a major improvement, not just in himself, but in himself at home. And also he's able to feel more confident and going out by himself. So there's many contributes that, you know, that the parent or the carer can see and witness from the individual itself. And I think with us, it's not just the benefits is of the individual, but it also have an impact on the family at home. So that's where, you know, it's that's where, you know, where it cultivates itself.
Yeah,
So
it's
I would do it.
holistic. It works in tandem with the parents and has an impact, if you like. It
Indeed,
trickles into the family dynamic. That's what I think I get from what you're saying.
it is.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think you really express that, you know, in a way which really kind of, I suppose, helps parents to understand, okay, what the participation kind of looks like. I wanted to kind of get a sense of, you know, what's the age ranges for the young people coming in, and what, you know, and how long do they stay? Is it, you know, you're talking about the courses that you do and you're running it across London. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, we do quite. Like I say, where I teach in Islington, it's all on the website. We teach the young as 6 to 12, and then there's another session from age 13 plus. Again, a lot of these sessions are either funded by grants or contracts, and again for donations. You know, we've been quite very fortunate to get people to do skydive, also bike ride, which I attended last year, and also what's the other one? The Nine Peaks. So there's a group who climb the mountain. So you know, donations are very supported and appreciated. But in the sense of the programs, you know, they span a range from different ages to different lengths of time. Some programs could be for 8 weeks. Some programs could be for a whole year. It's a whole academic year, which we've literally finished one at Shooters Hill College in Shooters Hill in South London, Greenwich. So yeah, it all spans out. And you know, you can see from our website and also social media, you know, the outcome from the staff and the parents itself. And yeah, so I'm getting a bit tangent away now. So what was the question? I've got a tendency of this going off a tangent. That's going to
That's all right. That's okay. Just free flow. Do your thing. And
sorry, everyone.
I was asking about the ages of the young people coming in. Yeah. So I think it's a case of understanding what the young people, you know, how long they stay inside of, you know, the programs that you put in. You say that you do it in Islington. Have you got many across the borough currently running at the same time?
We have done. It's been shortened now because most of them has been finished due to grants ending. So at the moment we're currently in Islington and also Ealing. Ealing will be starting, I believe it's either this Saturday or next Saturday. Ealing, I think somewhere in Northolt. I don't know the full address, but I can always find it out for you and post it up on the social media. That'll be going for 30 weeks over in Ealing. We actually worked with the organisation before last year, which was very, very successful. So we'll be doing that again for 30 weeks. And that was a combination with the funding, and also we'll be using the money from the donations from a gentleman or an MMA fighter known as Darren the Dentist Stewart. So that funding, that donation that he raised will be used for that. And also donations from 2 people that I know, very, very close to my heart. They raised, I think, over £1,000 or £2,000. I can't remember. But again, all money with that will be used for free sessions for the young people to attend. And again, all ages are different. So it's always best to look on the website or on social media to find out the ages. We try not to, we're not able to help everyone. So we do, you know, have a limit of the age range due to the mentality and the mindset of each individual and the groups that we, you know, participate in. But it's going very, very well.
So you have different courses going on. You've got like a 30-week course.
Yeah.
But you've also got courses that are a lot shorter. Is that right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about what you get from a shorter course, or how long that course is, and what a 30-week course looks like, and how many hours a week, how many hours a week that might be.
Okay, with a short course, it's just basically, you know, getting involved in MMA, getting involved in the boxing techniques, standing techniques, kickboxing, karate, wrestling, grappling on the floor. So getting those, excuse me, on the belt.
It's real life.
Yeah, so just getting into that motion. And again, although it's physical, it's all about the mindset. So sometimes, again, when they're, you know, standing in front of their you know, their opponent, it's not about letting your frustration out, or it is, but letting it out in a more controlled manner. And these are the elements and attributes we want to transform into everyday life. So if you're facing an exam test, don't be frustrated or be angry with the paper, because the paper will not move. The question will not move. The question will still be the same. It's just approaching it in a different form, changing your mindset. And that's how we use MMA as a vehicle, again, or a catalyst in an everyday life. Don't look at something and be angry at it. Don't look at something and approach it with negative thoughts. There are ways around things. There's always solutions. So with our programs, we teach that. We teach that although you're punching a bag or you're doing a jiu-jitsu move, be calm. Anytime you're in a confrontation, be calm. Even if you've got to count to 10, so they say, the best method, just be calm, relax. And I always tell my, I say students, and I might even, in fact, I might pose this question on to you as well, and to everyone else. What's the difference between respond and react?
I would say to react is a way in which you are not really thinking. It's more impulsive, yeah, and requires less thought than to respond.
I'll give you that.
Don't get me right. Don't get my badge.
Okay, 8.5. No, it's great. No, it is a short way of saying it. React is a habit. Respond is when you think.
Okay.
So it was right. It's just that you've made it into dissertation.
There you go. You know, it's the feminine version.
But no, this is what we teach our young people and seniors, whoever participates in the programs. That, you know, again, when you're competing on a match, you know, it's thinking. Yes, you can counteract, but again, use that in your everyday life. When you see, you know, bad energy, respond to it. Walk away. Diffuse it. Don't feel like you can take on the whole world, because now is not your time. So yeah, with our programs, this is what we teach, and with our programs, we award certificates for all the attendees and the achievements. We give them incentives as well. You know, we look out for those who has prospered very, very well for our programs, and we want them to feel like a family, because MMARAP is a family. We don't do grades, not as yet. It's not our ethos. That's not our vision at the moment. Our vision is just to empower and enrich people through MMA and education. And it's been a very remarkable journey as we speak.
Excellent. So I'm just going to open up the space. If people do want to, I know that people might be watching this and quietly watching this in the inside of the space. So if they want to join in the conversation, or they have any questions, because I think it's important. Sometimes, you know, there's not a space for parents to often discuss their child with special educational needs and disabilities in maybe possibly the same way as other parents do. So I want to open up the space for people to come into that. I'm just about to pop it into the chat as well. So if you do want to come on and you've got a question for Johnathan, don't hesitate to come into the space. He won't be here very long. So if you do want to come into the space, it's a good time to do it. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the chat now for you, and you guys will get that shortly. Yeah. So let's go on a little bit about how the 30-week course looks then. Yeah, because some parents might feel like that, you know, they want their child to do it for maybe, you know, a year, 2 years. You know, they want it to, you know, their child is become very confident, and they want to know that that space is still available. Does it run consecutively? Can they just carry on? Does it upgrade in any way? Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, the longer courses is really governed or contracted with other schools or organisations. So therefore, if we get a school or an organisation that wants to contract us for a number of weeks, like you say, for an academic year or so forth, then we will set up, we personalise a program for them. So each quarterly, we'll be working towards something, and then that way we can merit the young people or the adults or the seniors as well on the progression of the sessions. So each quarterly will be different, and again, you know, it's an amazing journey, because it's not every session and every quarter is the same. We'll be recapping a lot of things, and again, the most important thing out of these sessions is that you're engaging with people who are not like you but are like you. So, you know, when you're facing the real world, with employability, or with you going to whatever journey you take, it's not new to you. You've worked with someone who's got a disabled condition. You've worked with someone who's got a mental condition. You've worked with someone who's got who's an amputee. It's not something new to you. And these are the things that we like to, you know, we like to practice. And then, like I say, yes, it's MMA, but there's also the educational and motivational sides of it as well. And I think these are the elements that really makes us who we are as an individual, knowing these morals and knowing how to interact with such conditions in our lives, because we're all facing something in life. It's just the way how we address it, how we receive it, and how we deliver it. So this is why I may, as being biased as I am, this is why we are the best at what we do, because we've got 10 years of experience working with groups of those conditions. And I haven't had any parents, touch wood, or any schools say anything of differ, apart from, when can we book you next? Because our coaches are well trained. We always upgrade our standards. I myself is a BSL, British Sign Language user, so therefore I can communicate with the deaf pretty fluent. And also I'm training, some of my coaches are getting trained that as well. So yes, although we are disability awareness, we're also deaf awareness, we're also blind awareness. And again, especially with those with people who have children or clients who've got ADHD, remember there's spectrums to this game. I say game just the way how I am, but there's spectrums.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, absolutely. So how does it work? Do you put everybody in one group, or do you tailor it for children with similar needs that might maybe complement another?
Well, for my sessions on a Tuesday, everyone's welcome. So therefore, I will tailor it to the best as I can. And it has worked successfully for those with schools and organisations that that's been contracted, i.e., for example, the Royal Society for the Blind Children. Because I know they're all blind or visually impaired, I can tailor it for those sessions. For those who are deaf, I can tailor it to those sessions. If I have a mix of wheelchair users and ADHD, then I can tailor the program, or the company will tailor the sessions to that program. So knowing who the audience is or the beneficiaries, that's where we tailor our programs to its market.
Okay. And do you find I know you do you talked about the work that you're doing with young people over a period of time. Do they enter competition in any way? Do you get them involved in competitions?
We will do eventually. I forget, we just come out of the pandemic, so it's been a quite dawning moment for the last 2 years. But yes, yes, we will be entering competitions in the near future. Once we our students are at a level where they feel more confident to compete. Because again, training with your peers in your own dojo is great, is one thing, but entering a competition is a new scope, it's a new dilemma. So that is the next challenge for them, not just for myself, but for them to enter a new scenery where you can show your skills, enhance your abilities, and feel more confident in going out to a new world. So yes, we will be entering competitions in the near future.
And I think that's, were you doing that before, when you said you just had the pandemic, but were you doing that previously, before that 2-year window, if you like?
No, we haven't, to be honest. We were still building, and because due to certain things, i.e. grants and contracts, grants not always successful. So it has been quite difficult to get a consistent flow of sessions in a particular area where one can focus the participant to become a great athlete in the sport. So it has been quite difficult, but we've overcome some very, very steep hurdles. We do have many young people that want to compete. So it'd be great for them to continue this activity whether it's with MMARAP or with another a dojo, and highlight the name MMARAP, because this is what we emphasize on, working with people with mental and physical conditions.
Thank you for that. And we touched on a little bit about the pandemic. What was it like? What a change for you. How did you have to, if you like, bridge some of the gap? Because there was the whole thing about going out, not going out. Some people, obviously, depending on where they felt very conscious of that time period, meant that they isolated themselves off even more. So how did you work through that? What support was different during that time, and what were able to offer?
It was difficult because with this sports, you have to be physical. You have to be with someone to practice and demonstrate these art and skills with MMA. So it was difficult, and it was extremely difficult to those doing it online, but not just doing it online. It's doing it online where you're working with someone who's got a disabled condition, and you've got a household full of brothers and sisters and your parents. And also, it's also difficult as well, especially with those who just have one device, whether it's a phone or a laptop. So yes, it was extremely difficult to engage with the recent participants that I had from before. So there wasn't so much, in fact, there wasn't so much sessions going online. But yes, myself and a few other members of MEMARAP was doing one-to-one talks with certain individuals, just to make them feel more one, should we say, and feel as a wholesome, because they couldn't go out, and it's very, very quite daunting for those that couldn't do what they wish to do.
Absolutely. I mean, what would you now put in place now if it was to happen again? And we get this a new variant taking place and all those things. What would you help to put in place, you think, this time, if you could speculate on that?
We have a small groups. We work with certain individuals as groups, in small groups, and to see how well they respond to it. Now they've witnessed or experienced one pandemic. So once if it was to have another one, God forbid, if it was to have another one, at least people are more aware, aligned, and prepared than the first matter. So there's always solutions around this game here. So it's no issue, never a problem in my life.
Good. Well, that's good. I mean, I wanted to ask you. I mean, I want to kind of I want to wrap it up for you so you can leave, on time, in time, with time, right? So, but I wanted to ask you what you found was the most rewarding doing this work. Yeah. And what have you found was a greater reward, maybe for you and your team? How big is your team?
Also, it's a number of volunteers. So we've got volunteers, probably about a team of 13.
13?
13, 1-3.
Okay, that's good. That's all right. That's okay.
So it's really relatively small. All volunteers, all professionals from the expertise backgrounds. And so we're going from strength to strength. It is very difficult, and this is why it's why I'm on this platform for any philanthropists out there that wish to donate. I really appreciate you a helping hand. Please, email me or reach out to the company. I'd love to hear from you. Always looking for financial backers to enrich and not just enrich, but enhance and sustain the company as we grow. And there's many things that I want to achieve through MEMARAP. The company is not about me, not at all. It's about the young people and the people that we engage and empower. So yes, any tycoons out there, any philanthropists, any people with surplus cash, here I am. Hit me up. I know the universe is out there. I know the universe is connecting us one way or another. So please do get in touch with us. I'd love to hear you. We do want your support, because you're just not empowering me, but the company itself and the thousands of people that we wish to touch in with.
I appreciate that. Thank you, James. Oh, you're in the chat. Thank you so much. I think it's really important that at family, we don't discuss these kinds of things often, but it's really important that we address them, we highlight them. All our families matter. Yeah. And so, if you can support in any way, it's important that we at least stay in contact or reach out in some way as well, so that you can engage in it. It might be that people can volunteer. How can people get involved if they want to volunteer? Is there a process? Is there training? Tell us about that.
Yes, there's a process. You want to volunteer, obviously contact our HR department at hr@mmarap.co.uk, and you'll go through their procedures and policies. And once you're officially approved, and then you're on board, then we get to work. we keep touching souls. So yes, if you want to volunteer, by all means, you're very, very welcome to do so. We will take you through the steps, how long for, the do's and don'ts, etc. So although it's run on a voluntary basis, we still take it as a professional, as a business, because we are impacting many lives out there, and with the support like yourself, a minimum of 5 hours a week. That's all we ask. Just a minimum of 5 hours a week. Give me your time. Give the company your time, just to help the company grow in the way it wishes to go forth. So yeah, please do get in touch.
Right. So if people want to get involved, let's see if we can. So it's HR at.
Yes, HR at MMARAP.co.uk.
Right. Let's see if we can pop that up there. For you. Right. So let's see. Okay. Right. Yeah, is that right there? That's it?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. So if you want to get involved, you want to volunteer, you feel that, it's, and also, it's a case of it's a new environment for some people. Some people really want to get involved now, or you find a lot of parents are already involved in SEN already in some way, or you're a teaching assistant in some way, and this, you want to extend that. I know you do fundraising. First of all, when you contacted me, I think you contacted me about about the skydive.
Me? No.
Yeah. I was like,
what, you want to do a skydive? Do you want to skydive?
No,
I'm okay. I need crazy people to jump out of planes.
Fortunately, I'm not one of them then. But I appreciate it. I listen, many years ago, I used to be that kind of thrill seeker. Yeah, I had children, and that was it. Something happens. There's this phenomena. Women understand what I'm talking about. The phenomena when you've had children, you can't seem to go on rides anymore. That's it. It's gone. High rides, nothing. It's gone. Thank you, James. Oh, thank you so much. Sounds interesting. We'll check it out. He asks also a question here. He asks, how much is that martial arts experience, and how much martial arts experience do we need to volunteer?
No, you don't need any experience at all. What we want is those who are extremely passionate of the vision of MMARAP, but in terms of experience, you need no experience at all. We want you for your skills. So if you send your CV and a covering letter to HR, with its marketing, with its PR, with its IT, it could be any skill that you have, with your data skill. Please send it through, because we're always looking to strengthen the areas that we have. Whether it's the finance department, whether it's the HR department, whether it's the marketing department, whether it's the PR department. Also, as we speak, we're actually currently building a game as well. So if you know any game developers out there as well that wants to show improve your skills, then please get in touch. There's a lot of things going on with the company that we're dealing with at the moment. So don't be shy. Do not be shy. Pride doesn't pay bills. Pride gets you nowhere. So please step forward. We welcome you with great arms. And once you do join us, all I say is fasten your seatbelts and tighten your Timberland boots, because we're going to be marching through.
I like that. And that's really nice. I mean, you said there's a few things coming up. So tell us what is in the pipeline? Because obviously things are growing so rapidly in the form of technology, and it's accessible. Learning is so much more accessible in so many different ways, and so many modes now. So what can we expect? What's the future of MMA rap?
Well, the future, I'll keep it in a nutshell, is basically to enrich and empower more and more people. I don't want to speak out to existence, but I have done it, and in my own terms, but it's to help and enrich more and more people out there across London and across nationally as well. Because MMA is a powerful sport. Many organisations across London and further afield are fully aware of what we do, how we do it, and who we deliver to, and that's what makes us unique. Because our focus is, as it says, disadvantaged backgrounds, deaf, blind, and disabled people. So that's that is the future. That is the future.
Yeah, I get it. And I mean, I did ask you about what you found over the years, of the course of the 10 years. What have you found, I suppose, being the most rewarding experiences? What allows you to continue, keep you going? What motivates you inside of this? What's rewarding? What have you found some of the experiences that have been the most rewarding for you?
It's when parents come up to me and tell me that my son or daughter is now going back to school. It's parents, teachers, and carers telling me that they feel more confident. They're actually going out now. They're actually going out more. It's the young people that when they grow up, and I forgot what they look like, telling me, "Hey, do you remember me?" And I'm thinking, "Wow, look at the size of you now." That's what it is. How can I put it? All of us, we always aim for something to better ourselves, whether it's the mind, body, or soul. All I say, by the time you get there, help people on the way up, because someone will remember you. So what's rewarding for me is the fact that I can empower someone. I'm not here to empower the world, no, but if I can help improve someone's soul on my journey, hey, I can sleep well at night.
That's important, and I think I appreciate that. I think it's not an easy job to be engaged in, and bringing what you've done with it is you've brought martial arts, which is always be seen as mixed martial arts. In fact, that is not always accessible as it is, and then brought it into a space where it's accessible for children of special educational needs and disabilities. That for me, really speaks volumes about character as well. Yeah, it speaks a lot about character. Not everybody chooses that experience or chooses that kind of that line of work. And if you check out his Instagram and check out the website, you'll see some lovely footage of sparring and other things that have been going on inside of the organization. And so I really appreciate the space that you've created for that. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you all of those in the chat. And yeah, just really want to thank you for that. You've got competition tomorrow, you say?
I've got competition on the weekend, but I'm training today, but I'm not because I'm here. Well, it's not because I'm here. I'm training tomorrow. I've got a competition over the weekend, so yeah. So I want to get myself packed up, ready for tonight and tomorrow morning.
Well, look, I'm going to let you go now, and I'm just going to put you backstage. So just wait there. You'll see me. Just give me a thumbs up that you're there. But I really want to thank you so much for coming inside the space, and again, just to highlight those there's handles as well. If you want to volunteer, it's hr@MMARAP.co.uk. And if you want to just check out the website, please do check out the website. And the Instagram is also there as well. Yeah, so it's at MMARAP _.
Come in, bring it in, support us.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I hope that you get a lot of visits from this. Please share this, family, with other people. You may not be you, and the reason why I wanted to put it on is that it may not be me, but it might be someone else. So we can't just be selfish and think, well, it's all about us, and our children are fine. So it's a case of each one teach one, and we need to have those structures in place. So go ahead, please.
I do. Yes. Before we go, I say, people, for all listeners out there, if you know any schools out there or colleges that that can benefit from our services, please give them our details. We get in touch with them and so forth. That's what we're here for. I've built this up so we can help and enrich and empower more people, not just in my borough, but across London and further afield. So if you're a head teacher or work in the sports department, please get in touch. You can always look at the website. You can always see us on YouTube. You can see the results and the outcomes, positive outcomes that we've done for our deliveries, for our deliverance. So please get in touch.
Absolutely. I have a YouTube as well, MMA Rap YouTube. YouTube. So you can also check that out as well.
Twitter, LinkedIn, not TikTok, not as yet. But yeah, we're sort of quite some powerful platforms. So please reach out to us. Don't hesitate. Just come forward and let's have a chat.
Excellent. Well, look, I really want to thank you for coming into the space. Yeah, and I think it's really important that we highlight this, and that other parents get to understand what's available to their children, and the space that can be created and supported if we go into that lockdown space again. There's support there, there's one-to-ones, there's conversations. You're not alone as a parent, which is important. Yeah. So look, I'm going to put you backstage for a few minutes while I just wrap up, and I just want to say thank you again. And so yes, thank you so much. All right, wait for me there. Okay, wow, that was lovely. Short and sweet, but lovely. I think it's really important as well that we highlight these conversations. Let's not be selfish. Share it, please. Share it with somebody else who may be struggling with their child, who may want their child to have some input like this, where their confidence is boosted, their self-esteem is boosted. They may be experiencing bullying, they may be experiencing self-esteem issues, and so this helps to bridge the gap. And that's what this work is about. When I come in here, it's about bridging the gap between what we know and what we don't know. Yeah. And so it's important for us to bridge that gap. So I really want to thank everybody this evening for the support, as always. Yeah. And I will be back next week. I'm not going to tell you about the show, but it's going to be a banger. And it might be quite emotional, actually. So I might have my tissues out, and so we never know. So be ready for that. But in the meanwhile, I want to thank you, all of you, for who participated. Thank you so much, James O, for being in the building tonight. You've been holding the fort strong in the comments tonight. Please share it. Please get involved. Volunteer. They'll need more volunteers, and it's important that we have our children in the space and volunteers that support our children from our community as well. So I really want to encourage us to engage in that conversation. So for now, as we do, and we always say, I'll see you next time, but in the meantime, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got kush.